Are some Manchester United fans right to be worried over Ruben Amorim's comments, or is it better for the long-term good of Manchester United? We're going to dive into those comments in a second. Chido leaves a big impression with staff shocked and impressed at how good he is at trying to create chances for himself. Could this almost be a little dig at Højlund as well? Gittens transfer links to Manchester United. Good player, probably a bit overpriced though. Mainoo contract drama, 180k a week demand. What is he thinking? What is the truth in that? Lindelof exit. I mean, it's basically confirmed because he's a free agent, but there's more updates about Benfica and Lindelof. We've got some news and updates in regards to the Europa League. Garte speaks out about the competition United's priorities. There has been an academy blow. Lacey's had a bit of a setback. We might be losing youngster JJ Gabriel. We'll talk about that. And then we're going to talk about Rasmus Højlund. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news roundup. I know the setup's a bit different, but I'm actually sort of watching the Champions League here in the background as I'm filming this, well, just after half time. But Ruben Amorim said this: I know the responsibility. We have to fight for every trophy, but in this moment, we're trying to build something that will last more than any trophy this season. So Ruben Amorim is sort of saying he's prioritizing just what he's building for the long term and maybe the league and trying to build upon something over winning a trophy. Now, a lot of people aren't happy with this. Now, I'm going to look at it in two senses. Erik ten Hag winning trophies covered up the cracks for what was a poor season, and had he not won the FA Cup, he would have most definitely probably been sacked earlier. Maybe Ruben Amorim would have gone in. You know, if he hadn't won the FA Cup, he would 100% have been sacked. So I guess winning a trophy is almost covering the cracks a little bit. And I think Ruben Amorim is saying it's not just about winning the trophy and covering the cracks, it's fixing the cracks and the trophy sort of will come, is his mindset. Now, for me, we're not going to get into Europe unless we win the Europa League, and that will get us back in the Champions League. With the Champions League on tonight, we're a long way off it. We wouldn't do very well in the competition, but it makes me realise how much I miss it and how much I want to be in that competition. If you're not in the Champions League, at least want to be in Europa. I want to be in Europe to have that extra trophy to compete for. So for me, if I'm United and going all out for Europa to say, look, we've not had the best season, but we can somewhat save it by winning the Europa, getting back in the Champions League, which will put us in a better position to build in the summer. Now, I don't think this is Ruben Amorim writing off the champion. Sorry, I don't think this is Ruben Amorim saying we're not going to try in the Europa League or writing off the Europa League. I think Ruben Amorim will try and win it. But I think Ruben Amorim is just saying, you know, this season is more about progress and building something so we're in a better place next season than, you know, winning a trophy to paper over the cracks. You know, we're trying to build something that's going to last more than any trophy this season. And ten Hag winning a trophy last season, I guess it papered over the cracks. So I get what Amorim is saying, but I do think we should be doing what we can for the Europa League, and I do think it's really important. Let me know your thoughts down below. Now, talking of really important, and unfortunately won't be in the Europa League because he wasn't in the squad, is Chido. But if he can score a winner versus Arsenal, that would be great. Coaches were impressed by Chido Obi's appetite for engaging in duels, using his physicality to get the better of his opponents and his desire to create good positions in the box. He was described as having great ambition and a great work mindset to get what he wants. And I feel like you could see this on a pitch. He didn't get the ball past him for the first 15 minutes. It took him a while to grow into the game. But it was almost like he was making things happen for himself. And I think Rasmus Højlund has a severe lack of service, and I do feel sorry for Højlund. But I do think Højlund is waiting for chances to come to him that are not coming for him, even though he's making runs, whereas Chido was almost getting in more dangerous positions, trying to make something out of nothing, creating those chances for himself, engaging in the duels. I thought that, you know, one thing about Højlund that's worried me is how his hold-up hasn't been as good. He's not used his physicality as well this season. His wrestling has been poor. And I think a big bit of it's confidence with Højlund, but Chido is raw and he's not fully ready, but he's showing, you know, mold him in over the next 3-4 years. You know, I don't think he'd be good enough to start for Man United for 3 years, week in, week out, when you think of where we want Man United to be in 3 years' time, like top, because he's so young and so raw. But he's one of those players in 3-4 years' time, you're like, this guy could be an absolute monster. He's got the scoring instincts there. It's just about development, molding him through, getting the right pathway. We can get experienced players in to take the burden off him. But there's a hungry player there, and I think he's definitely going to have minutes in the Premier League this season because we need a hungry player in attack. We're really, really lacking that, someone that's trying to make goals, because Garnacho hasn't scored in 21 games. Højlund hasn't scored in 18 games. The goals come from Bruno and Ahmad, and Ahmad isn't here. So I've been really impressed with Chido. Now, obviously, we're going to be making attacking transfers. There's going to be a striker. There's definitely going to be a 10 coming in. Rashford will go, Anthony will go, but obviously selling Sancho and Garnacho could go. There could even be 3 attacking reinforcements. You never know, but I think there'll definitely be 2, and a left 10 and a striker. Now, it's said that United, Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur have been linked, but Chelsea have been most associated with a move for Jamie Gittens, with Bayern Munich also increasingly tipped to mount the pursuit. Apparently, he wants to move to England. I like the player, good player, exciting player, still raw. I would like someone a little bit more made for the 10 role, made for the pockets, a little bit more experience than him. That's why I prefer Cunha. I like Gittens, but I think he's a little bit overpriced. Dortmund tax, Bundesliga tax, in that sense. But I do really like the player, and I think it's the kind of player that would definitely bolster our attack. But I think there are players I like out there more. But then if he's available for a good price, I'm all over this deal because I am a big fan of Gittens. I do think he was more of a 4-3-3 player than Ruben Amorim's system. I feel like he's more of a 10R player than an Amorim player. Maybe that's just me. I haven't watched loads of him this season, only just bit Champions League cameos. But I do like the player from what I've seen. Now, I want to talk about other stories because Kobbie Mainoo is set to sign a new deal at United, but it's been stalling and no one really knows what's going on. And he's been injured. And it was said that United have held fresh contract talks with Kobbie Mainoo. His representatives want a pay rise to 180k a week plus bonuses. United are hopeful of reaching compromise. At 19 years of age, to be asking for 180k a week in this United side is ridiculous. Now, this is obviously probably them testing the waters. What agents do, they go massively over. Now, I don't even know if this number is real. Who knows as well. And this is what's being reported. Mainoo hasn't had the best season because he's been plagued with injuries, but he's shown his quality this season. But he was immense last season. He was playing in the Euros last season. Unbelievable player, unbelievable talent. But for me, you give him a contract where it goes up as he ages each year because he's so young and it goes up based on performances. You give him 180k a week at 19 years of age, that causes problems. That causes laziness because he's got what he wants. He's got that safety. For me, yeah, we can't give him anywhere near that kind of number. I wouldn't want to give Mainoo more than 100 grand a week because he's 19 years of age. Why would he need that kind of money? This is where we've gone wrong in the past. Now, I think Mainoo could be a top-class, world-class talent, and I still believe he can be. But it's not like he's done what Ahmad's done this season. He's been injured. We don't know his best role in Amorim's system. It would be silly to give him crazy numbers. Also, if Mainoo is asking for this, it's way too much. But I think this is agent testing the waters here. I think a compromise will be reached for like half of this, to be honest. But let's continue on into the next story. But that is way too much. That is, yeah. Nah. And if Mainoo did want this number, I would be thinking, what is he thinking? Like, he's not going to get that number. What are they thinking generally? Anyway, let's continue on into other news. Benfica want to sign Lindelof at the end of his contract this summer. Reports came out of Portugal earlier, that Lindelof wanted to return to Benfica. He's a free agent. He's set to leave United. Lindelof, Heaton, Evans all set to leave Manchester United. Obviously, Sancho will leave as well. Sorry, I was just watching the Champions League games. And the Garte spoke about the Europa League and said things a little bit different to Amorim. He said this season has not been the best. We all know that. The focus has to be on Thursday. The Europa League is a competition. I'm not saying we're obliged to, but it would be nice to win it. We're all thinking about that match. I'd say we have to go all out and win the Europa League. I think us and Spurs are the two best teams in it, and Spurs are probably better than us right now in terms of all of that. I think that it's not got the Champions League teams dropping down. I think we should be going all out to win the Europa League. I think it's really important. I think Sociedad will be one of our toughest games in the Europa League in Spain. We don't have a good record there, so if we could knock Sociedad out, I'd actually be quite confident in what we could do. In terms of the academy blow I spoke about in the intro, MUFC Academy said this exclusive. Gutted to say that Shea Lacey has picked up another injury. The extent of his injury and the exact cause of it is unknown yet, but heartbreaking for the 17-year-old. Rumoured to be to do with his leg. Lacey last start in the under-18 games against Blackburn Rovers and was picking up a good run of form. Shea Lacey is probably arguably the most naturally talented player in the academy. And it's been really sad because he was just coming back into it. He was just looking really, really good. And he's got injured again. And it's such a shame when it's given Mason Mount. And it's a shame. And I hope he can avoid injuries in the future. It was also said that United are hoping for JJ Gabriel to stay at the club. The past year, this blah 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 blah, he's been getting a lot of interest. So Academy Scoop saying United want JJ Gabriel to stay at the club, but this past year he's been getting a lot of interest from Premier League clubs and across Europe. Barcelona have been trying to tap him up. I think he wants to go to Barcelona. Look at what the academy players are doing there, which is fair. An under-18s debut is believed to be in order before the season's end to try and keep JJ Gabriel, who's probably the most talented player in our academy, the most exciting one to come through, particularly with Shea Lacey's injuries, like unbelievable at 14 years of age. So United want to do what they can to see if they can keep him, but he could be set to go, which is another blow. And then last but not least, I saw these stats from Sky. Højlund has played more games than he's had shots. And that is really worrying, not just from Højlund's perspective, but from the squad perspective. 0 goals in 21 games for Garnacho, 0 goals in 18 games for Højlund. But then you look at it and say, well, we've not been good enough in the final third. We're not supplying players enough in the final third. We need to improve all-round team, but attack is priority. And this says to me, we need another wing back. We need a midfielder that can pass the ball progressively. We need a centre-back that can pass the ball progressively. We need a striker, and we need a 10 to improve all-round creativity. Højlund, of course, with confidence will score more goals, needs to improve elements of his game. But it's really lacking in attack right now, and that's a big worry for United. We need to improve that quality in attack. And if we have a good summer and we get recruitment spot on, I think we can be in a good position. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.